No,
that is not
so you have no right to say this.
One minute.
It is not suburb versus island
rich and famous people not voting. The things are diverting in different
He
ways.
is not voting. He is charging the slum wala. That's why I have to say.
One minute. She's making
This debate is not about suburb versus island
I agree with you.
facilities versus the other. It is about the normal Mumbaikar and why haven't they come out to vote?
The whole country is asking this right.
Hazare
Things go
movement.
wrong,
We
the
have a
high-rise
Anna
people
Hazare
come out.
movement where the entire nation is talking about being against the corrupt, being against people who do not deliver. And then when you have this opportunity once in 5 years to exercise that right, if you feel the solution is not voting, what are we achieving?
Well,
is it a sentiment which is hate towards the political class, or is it a sentiment which is hate towards the corrupt?
Not hate.
Or is it a sentiment where you feel that that one vote does not matter? That is precisely what we should be discussing vis-a-vis suburbs versus
you're
the
right.
city.
You got the agenda back, but what I'm saying is, very simply, is the people, there are not just poor people and rich people. The people feel that the politicians make promises but don't deliver. So what's the point in voting for anyone else?
Then you have no right to
so
One minute. It's one versus a lot. Who's taking it? One of you. She's responding to one.
But I haven't finished.
Why the thing? Why y'all take the then questions are coming from y'all? Then after, if anything goes wrong, you say ki, oh, these politicians are wrong. I say, why don't y'all come out with it?
No,
then?
that I'm
why
saying.
don't a person from high rise come from your people come and stand as a
The
candidate?
day one minute.
One at a time, gentlemen. This debate is getting a lot of feedback from Mumbai.
Hello.
I'm telling our viewers in Mumbai, no, we are not taking any phone calls on the show, but I'm going to take few more. I'm extending the debate by 5
Let me
minutes.
finish. The day any candidate says that if I don't deliver within a year, I will resign, that candidate will come in with 100%.
Why don't you say? Why don't you stand as a candidate, and why don't you say that? Start a new trend.
I'm too old.
There is the Mumbai 227, which has fielded 53 candidates this time.
Correct.
Independent citizens who have been assessed and who have been interviewed by prominent people like Mr. Julio Ribeiro and the likes. And 53 of them have stood from the various wards of the city. And most of those wards have witnessed a fairly good voter turnout coming down from the high rises. Because now people have been made aware. They have gone and actually engaged with those people.
Well said.
Whereas the rest of the politicians only engage with the slum because that is their vote bank. And they only thrive on those kind of politics, and we all know that. Now to say that we want to sort of blindfold ourselves and believe that we are not voting for X, Y and Z reason is untrue.
I think we must recognize it's a very dangerous indifference. Please, Prahlad and Alec Padamsee, I have great respect for both you gentlemen. You're extremely serious, but don't justify it.
No, I'm not justifying.
We'll not justify. Promise to deliver and we'll vote. Promise to deliver and we'll vote.
They're all promising to deliver.
No, promise with a letter of resignation. A recall. I'm saying have a recall. The person is recalled. Even though 227.
May I say something?
Who's responding? One at a time.
The right to resign if he doesn't deliver a particular person. It is not so simple because there's so many factors which are involved, and he alone cannot be responsible.
Let there be many factors.
Practically, it's not feasible to do so.
Why? They've done it in America. There's a right to recall in the state of California. You only need 250,000 signatures to have a fresh recall, and the governor, the chief minister of California was recalled.
One second.
Fine,
and
but
they had a new election.
You still tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. 75% of people in Kolkata municipality voted, right? 70.
Yes.
31% more than Mumbai. Now tell me, Mumbai has some fantastic candidates. The profile is completely different. They're much better. Whole set of political parties have flown down from California to take part in the elections in Kolkata. The same political parties. Why is Kolkatans voting? What's different? Are people in Kolkata? No, I'm asking. Are people in Kolkata?
I would imagine they think that the new when you're talking about the general vote, you're talking about
municipal elections.
Every single one of us.
Then they've obviously got some new technique of saying, I will deliver.
No,
Listen,
no, it's not.
In
Let
a
me just
private,
say
in
one thing,
any,
Arnab.
in anything,
Alex,
if a father doesn't deliver
Alex,
to his family,
Alex,
they will hate the father.
Yeah.
If the
Thus-
politicians
Alex,
don't deliver to their
Alex,
family, which are the voters, they will hate the
Arnab,
politicians.
Alex, this
The
hate voters, hate
problems-
politician sentiment is also
The
not.
problems
No,
of
no,
Mumbai
it's true.
city.
No, it's not
It's
good.
not good.
It's
The
not good.
problems of Mumbai.
Shine.
The problems of Mumbai city are herculent. Every single person knows that there is no magic solution.
Of course.
Having said that, I think it's a relative term, but if you give somebody the opportunity to perform rather than being so cynical and saying that no, nothing is
Opportunity
functioning
after
and
16
nothing is
years.
working. Please, Alec, you
it is
know
not
the
only
kind of
BMC.
influx. It's not just the BMC, it's multiple agencies which are working.
Potholes, the influx is due to potholes.
One second.
So
due
who
to
is
influx.
responsible?
One second.
Is it the MMRDA or the BMC?
One second. Do the poor people
The
ride?
BMC.
Do the poor people ride over the same potholes? Or do the
But they do it
are the
gently.
poor
They,
people?
no, they, of course, they hate it. They hate it as much as
it's
any
the
other
same
person
story.
in
No,
Bombay.
the story tonight is this, gentlemen. I want to share a shocking fact with our viewers too.
Yes.
And I want to tell you, wherever you're watching this tonight, this is not a Mumbai story. This has become the disinterest of the affluent and the elite.
Not
to vote.
disinterest.
No, please.
It is
allow.
the-
I have
It is.
I have
It is
statistics.
the disinterest.
I have
It's
statistics.
probably
And if you're
absolutely
watching
right.
this in
Not
Bangalore,
disinterest.
one minute. If you're watching this in Bangalore, let me tell you that in the greater Bangalore Metropolitan Corporation polls March 2000, 45% voted overall. Affluent areas saw less than 35% voting. In some very elite areas, less than 25% voting. Bangalore. Achha, Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, less than 46% voting. More affluent areas like Jubilee Hills and Red Hills saw 39% and 29% voting. Chennai Corporation, 48% voting October 2011. Voting in the more elite areas or the rich areas or expensive areas, less than 35%.
Yes.
Okay, now Delhi. Right? Less than 40% polling. In South Delhi, less than 35% polling. So this is a national story. So, I busted this whole myth today.
The richer,
What about
the rich
Ahmedabad?
are disgusted. They are
Ahmedabad is
disgusted with the
44%
fact
overall.
that politicians don't deliver. That's why they don't.
No,
But
why
is
is
this
this?
an
Oh, the rich
No
are
excuse at all.
This is not a good
They
excuse
are
at all.
disgusted.
No.
These are not
They are not
these are not
disinterested, they're
connected
disgusted.
stories.
This is not at
These
all
are
the
not
issue.
connected stories.
what
Voters
about
not
the youngsters?
voting and blaming the politicians for that is not an excuse. You have to
have the
vote.
right to.
And the politicians not delivering and blaming the voters for not having voted is again not an excuse.
True.
So either ways, these are completely disconnected
Simple
issues.
story.
How are you
have
going
the
to make them
right to
accountable?
criticize
I
when
will
Whoever
tell you.
is voted,
I
Alec,
will
it has
canvass
to be
for that
accountable.
politician
So once
who
you
said,
start voting,
Listen,
yeah.
I think so once you all start voting, then
we
you'll
can
see the
have this
change.
discussion.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you, sir. I'm
Why?
talking about all the high-rise people. I know you.
Yes, go on.
Every
Meet the
should,
high-rise
I'm not even
every
talking about the
person.
high-rise people. I'm talking about the young people who have now come
That worries
to the electoral.
That's
That
the
is
main
really
thing.
worrying.
Worrying.
The
That's
youngsters
the
who
thing.
do not vote, that is truly a matter of concern.
He feels-
because
he feels-
that youth
Very good.
is
Janard-
not the
J- J-
future, it's the present, and if they're not coming out, then there's a
Janardhan Chandorkar believes that you are being insulting towards the less affluent people. Your last point you said. Let him.
The point is what Mr. Alexi is trying to say.
Alexi,
He is
thank
a
you.
elite person. He knows Indian constitution. If you want to change this process, a
There's
forum should be raised
legislation,
like
of
Anna
course.
Hazare. You start a movement like that.
I don't want
and
to
you
change.
are
I
without
want people
following
to
the
be
existing.
accountable, that's
and
all.
accountable. I agree with you. If he is not, if he has not fulfilled, change him after 5 years.
can I-
Not 5 years. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
Then you have to move for the constitutional
vote and
change.
then
I'm
You
talking
have
about
to
that.
put some reforms before the
I am talking
constitution.
about it. Let's say I'm talking about it
vote.
today, and I hope it goes around the country.
conclude
You
by
can
saying
recall
that
a man after 1 year.
Can I ask a question?
But they're
One
Then
second.
they'll become accountable.
If film stars had stood for election, would there have been better polling in Mumbai?
Possibly.
You think so? Possible? Then that's
Not in
very
Bombay.
worrying.
Not
That's
in
very
Mumbai.
worrying. But
Not in
I
Mumbai.
think it's not a Mumbai story.
They don't
it's a
care.
national story. I think we all need to be worried
No,
about
when
it.
Man who
2067
does not
happened,
vote is
that
called
time
an
I
idiot.
saw all the Kulaba side, all these town people coming down with the candles
But
in
also-
thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
people.
But she
true.
said that they
So-
might
so
have
where
won.
are-
But
Yeah.
also,
They felt something would be achieved. That's why they came out. When they don't vote, it's because they don't feel anything will be achieved by voting. Don't
That's
you
called
see that?
cynicism,
That's why
Alex.
It's
you
not
have
cynicism.
35%
What
in
do you want?
Colaba
It's
and
reality.
51% in Lalbagh.
16 years you've been in power.
You have
Give us your
35%
record of
in
what you've
Colaba
done,
and 51%
and
in
people will come
Lalbagh.
out.
Well,
answer this point.
Yeah.
You have 35% in Kolaba and you have 61% or 51% in Lalbagh.
Yes.
Why do you have these different parameters through the city then?
Because the people in Kolaba that you're talking about, Kolaba, I don't live in Kolaba, by the way. The people in Kolaba feel that it's pointless voting because the potholes and everything else is going to remain.
No, this
yes,
is enough.
you believe it.
I'm asking
you
you
believe
does
it.
not
I'm
vote
telling
is
you,
called
secretly
an
you believe
idiot.
it.
Well,
Everyone in this room believes that nothing is going to happen in the next 5 years. I guarantee you. Put it on a piece of paper and we'll see.
So many things have happened in Bombay which
Do you believe?
for the worst.
Do you believe?
That took 15 years to build. I'm on the committee. I know. I talk on the Citizens Action Group.
Alec Padamsi, I like to tell Alec Padamsi
At what
something.
cost?
I'm getting a few phone calls and they
Yeah.
seriously say,
Yeah.
then make Alec Padamsi fight the election. Give a promise. Give a promise that he is going to resign.
All right, I'll give you a promise.
And
I'll give you a
we'll
promise.
come out and vote for him.
Any politician who says that I will resign within 1 year if I don't complete, I will be his campaign manager. I will be his campaign manager. China, I will be your campaign manager.
Okay, gentlemen, since we have had a hearty chat on this, but the story is not limited to Mumbai. That's the point. It's common to Bengaluru, it's common to Hyderabad, it's common to Delhi, and we all need to be worried about it.
And why?
And we need to be worried about it. And
Why?
And why? That's a question I put to our viewers tonight on the
Q.
Newshour. To all of you with that big Q at the end of Newshour, thank you very much. You should actually consider what I said. Thank you very much for joining us on the Newshour. See you tomorrow, same time. Good night and goodbye.